everyone, my name is Bola Shokunbi. I'm the founder and CEO of Clever Girl Finance, and welcome to Clever Girl Finance TV. So if you're in a relationship, this video is for you because I'm going to be talking about how to budget with your partner. One of the questions I get asked pretty often is, how do I get my partner on the same page as me when it comes to creating a budget? So we're going to talk about all of that in this video, and I'm going to guide you step by step as to how you can budget with your partner. So get your notebook and let's get to it. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to be giving you access to the Clever Girl Finance Roadmap, which is a step-by-step guide to help you and your partner create your own financial plan for the long term. So when it comes to budgeting with your partner, it's all about getting on the same page and keeping in mind that your budget is just simply the two of you telling your money what to do and creating a plan so that you can achieve your financial goals. It's not about conflict or fighting or resentment. So when you think about approaching the conversation with your partner, think about it as, this is a conversation I'm going to have so that we can work as a team to make sure that we can achieve our joint financial goals. And it's also important to keep in mind that when it comes to budgeting and planning your finances as a couple, it's all about working on a plan and a strategy that works best for both of you as a unit. There are tons of doctrines and gospels out there as to how couples should manage their finances, but ultimately the best way to manage your finances is the way that works best for the two of you. So when it comes to budgeting with your partner, the first thing you want to do is create a list of all of your income. Where are all the different areas that you have money coming into your household from? Your employer, your side hustle, your business, whatever it might be, you want to make sure that you lay that out on a piece of paper, on a spreadsheet, in your app, and know what that number is. So how much money are both of you bringing into the household every month? And if you have an inconsistent income, then look back at your last 3 to 6 months of income and take an average of that and use that as your number. The next thing you want to do is create a list of all your expenses. So what are the different expenses that you and your spouse have going out every month, right? There could be fixed expenses like your housing costs, your transportation costs, utilities, and then you could also have expenses that change, right? Different things like food, going out, travel, etc. You want to make sure that you also list all those different expenses that you could potentially have every single month on your spreadsheet, in your app, on your budget, so that you know exactly what you're going to be planning for. And the goal is that you want to keep your expenses well under your income, right? The difference between your income and your expenses, that gap between those two things, is now extra money or freed up money that you can put towards your other goals, like paying off debt, saving, or investing. So as you lay out your income on one side and lay out your expenses on the other side, start to think about what ways can we cut back to reduce our expenses, and also what things can we do to increase our income so that we can widen that gap between our income and expenses and create more money for our financial goals. So once you've laid out your income and your expenses, now you want to build the categories of your expenses into your budget and come up with a number for each category on how much you're going to spend for each particular category. So for instance, let's say going out to eat is something that you guys like to do, right? How much are you comfortable with putting into your budget for going out to eat? And you want to make sure that you guys are both on the same page. And you also want to make sure that you're keeping your other financial goals in perspective. So if you have a savings goal or a trip coming up or debt you need to pay off, should you really be spending tons of money eating out every day, or do you want to designate a certain amount so that you can go out to eat once a month or once every other week? It's important to have that in mind as you determine how much you spend on each one of these categories. And if you're having trouble coming up with the amount to spend or to assign to each of these categories, go back and look at your last few months of your bank statements and see how much you have spent to come up with an average, and then you can decide from there whether you need to cut back or keep the amount as is. So you've laid out your income, you've laid out your expenses, you've assigned a dollar amount to each expense category. The next thing you guys want to do is to actively track your spending for your budget, right? So you have everything laid out, and that means checking in once a day, once a week to see how you're doing. You can use an app to track those transactions in your bank account. You guys can use a spreadsheet. You guys can use the Notes app on your phone, whatever works best with you. The whole point is that you want to track how you're spending your money in line with the budget that you have created. It's all about staying on track with your budget so that you can accomplish the financial goals that you both are working towards. And as you track your expenses, it's important that you guys have open lines of communication. So with me and my husband, we have a standing meeting once a month where we talk about our financial goals and our budget for the upcoming month. But that's, more of a structured thing where we're looking at the budget. So you want to make the conversation about money part of your everyday talk, right? Similar to how you would talk about what you're going to have for dinner, you can talk about how you did with your finances for that particular day. And as you establish this open line of communication, it's important that you both stick to the plan that you have both agreed upon. That's really, really important. So if you guys have decided that you're going to save for X thing, or you decided that you're going to focus on paying off a certain amount of debt or doing specific things with your finances, you want to make sure that you stick to that plan. And if things are happening in your daily life at work, with your friends, where you might have to deviate from that plan and your spouse or your partner is not with you, make sure you communicate first before you make that change. This is the easiest way to avoid conflict. So communication is super key when it comes to budgeting and managing your finances with your partner. Finally, it's really important that you guys talk about your long-term goals. So I said, my husband and I, we talk about our financial goals. We talk about our big picture, the things that we want to achieve next year, in 5 years, and 10 years by retirement. We have that conversation pretty often. And so in your relationship, especially if you guys are in a long-term committed relationship, it's really important that you set the stage as to what you both want to accomplish and get on the same page. That way, as you work on budgeting together, as you work on paying off debt together, as you work on saving together, you guys have the same end goals in mind. And I will reiterate the part on communication because that's super, super, super key when it comes to managing your finances with your partner. Communicate, talk about it, make it part of your normal conversation every single day. So how do you guys currently budget or manage your finances with your partner? I would love to know. Leave a comment below. And be sure to head over to Cleverwell Finance and get access to our free roadmap that can help you and your partner create a long-term financial plan to help you win with your finances. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.